Good morning. Corinne is with us, and Ray Cooper of World Peace Chocolate, and I happen to know he is outside right now at a market in Petaluma, phoning it in. Awesome. Thank you, Ray, for being a regular.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Corinne. I've got a list of warm-ups, and you're part of one of those warm-ups. We got your experience and my experience with dairy rescue calves. I've got a little additional insight into Kevin Lunny's lies in the Point Reyes Light. And I've got a little musical piece that we could also play really quick.
Whee! And good morning to Stephen from Switzerland.
Since we just had on some music, let me go that route.
Sure. Thank you. For your musical pleasure.
Let me start that over so you can see this field he's driving through.
It's hard to see in the dark there. It's kind of like some weeds in the dirt, it looks like. It's hard to see in the dark.
There's nothing. It looks like a McClure and not Lenny, who's Kehoe, the desert, the murdered desert. At least I'm sure they didn't think it out properly for this one, but at least it's more accurate than the dairy advertisements that pretend that cows are living in these lush green fields. This is more like it.
I don't know whether it's really fair to pick on that hardworking steward of the land who's tractoring over the land. The music makes it nice, though. You could sort of show like someone being vivisected or a cow being hit in the head and have the happy music. Stephen and I met in advertising years ago. He knows the power of music. You can put it over anything and change it.
Anyone else having problems hearing? I think, Corinne, you might want to turn the volume up on your device.
Yeah, audio is good over on this end for whatever that's worth. So we're hoping it's you, Corinne, that you have the problems with your audio rather than here at the Skyler studio.
All right, let me get through this because it's only supposed to be a short segment. Work for all my life with stars to be living here. I was just thinking as I rewatch this, I'm like, well, they got all the colors of the people right.
Wow.
They're all, because the song is all, I'll stand up next to you and I'm proud to be an American as long as you're white and killing the planet.
No. They have a token black guy here who they put in front of the cannon.
No, they don't.
No?
Where?
Oh, I thought I'm sorry. Where? He was just in shadow. I thought they usually have one black dude who comes in. Wow.
Leah, do you remember this? You guys remember this? This is the bit that came out after 9/11, and all the country singers like cashed in on it big time. Anyway, the big lyrics are, "I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free." And I'm just thinking, like, when the writers are pitching this, asking how dumb is our target audience? Like, do they actually think that freedom is rare and unique? Do they actually think that the United States is the only place that has freedom? And yes, the answer is fucking yes. That's how dumb the target population is.
Yeah. As Gene Wilder put it in Blazing Saddles, you got to understand, and I'll quote, "You got to understand, Skyler, these are simple farmers. People of the land, the common clay of the New West, morons." That's a Cleavon little.
They also know better than anyone else because, their granddaddies did it and their granddaddies did it, but they're also simple folk that don't know any better whenever it's convenient. As long as it involves not learning or evolving.
Put on Fox News for 24/7 for a month and your head will turn to cotton as well.
Mm.
Who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you
as long as you are white.
Oh my God.
And defend her still today.
I think Lee Greenwood has spent as much time on a ranch as the ranchers of Point Reyes spend on their ranches. They're out managing their portfolios and their businesses, maybe even some slave trading
So let it,
of
let
all
it
of their
give us,
Mexican slaves.
give us 60 seconds of this stuff, please.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want. I mean, it's rather than drips and drabs. Give me a full 60-second burst of vomit.
Don't forget the men who died, and I'm proud. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I.
Is that so? I got to stop.
I wanted more. I love it. I love it. I'm
but you don't want to get. You don't want. I got to avoid the copywriting.
Oh, okay. There's that. Why is he wearing his army cover to the breakfast table on the farm? Just that's his thing, I guess.
Well, at least he took it off. Lunny and Trump don't even take their hats off. Lenny doesn't take them off at the dinner table. His dad, the Christian, being portrayed in all this ranching propaganda as they pretend to sit around and pray, and the Point Reyes light comes out and photographs them out there.
Leah is saying,
they don't even take off their hats at the dinner table while they're saying grace. Trump won't take off a baseball cap in the White House. I'm sure he doesn't even set foot in a church.
Well, I am told though he does have his diaper emptied before he enters a church. By the way, Leah says, I'm already hurling. Just the music and visuals is enough. The target audience is dumb. Yes, free to be an idiot. Hence our defunding of schools.
How many people remember? I wasn't supposed to go this far down, but you remember that dude that jumped in front of the camera? It was kind of notorious at the time, back when Trump lost badly to Biden, and he had the big fat white dude with the beer barbecue freedom t-shirt on. And it's just like, that's exactly everything that's wrong. It's like, you have a emotional attachment. Your identity as a human being is that you barbecue and drink beer. Look, I drink beer and I used to barbecue. It's not my fucking identity, man.
Yeah.
And you can't have either of those two things without freedom, apparently, without taking over the rest of the world. The only way you can have beer and barbecue is if we also spread an empire.
And once again, we're up to our old capitalist. Well, and actually, I guess the technical word would be imperialist tricks. Let's seize more land, because they don't have rights to that land. They just seized it, unlike America. I mean, anyway, the hypocrisy is so thick. I have trouble with watching pundits these days in the politics, because they're sort of like, pundits are in normal world, and then we're watching a lunatic unleashed, and then his cast of more intelligent sycophants going along with it, and it's unbearably painful. And to watch,
I can't believe you tried.
This is wrong. He shouldn't do this. It's like, you think? It's painful to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, the reaction to it. Of course, what he's doing is the. I mean, I do wonder if there's a certain point where, if he launched missiles at Greenland, would Pete Hegseth and the JD, the juvenile delinquent Vance, go along with it? We needed to do this. They were putting up a fight. Europe was gathering to forces against us. It's called NATO, which we've been part of since World War II. Anyway, let's go back to an easy topic, shall we, of cattle ranching. The current major destruction of our atmosphere, our land, and our water, and our pollution of our oceans in America. That land where we can be free to pollute.
Are you referring to the article you're going to go over today?
Well, I don't know. I'm scattered and upset. So you run it, my friend. I'll follow your lead.
No, that's the main topic today. We have an article that is actually well researched. It's not funded by the cattle industry. Has some actual science. So that's the meat of the show today. But we have some other things. We're still in the warm-up.
Very good. Thank you.
Stage. I want to, let's see. Let me get Lee Greenwood out of the queue here. And
I'm the free flow guy, folks, and Skyler is the one providing structure and technology. So thanks to Skyler where it's due.
Well.
And NC says nothing wrong with barbecued vegetables. Yes, exactly.
This is true.
Barbecue, it's what you put on it. Is it? Yeah, I was going to do a vegan thing, but I'll hold off for the moment. Who's that fun guy there? Is that Kevin Lunny, the rancher of Point
Lunny the Liar?
Lion Lunny. Wow.
So I was walking around documenting plants, and I started thinking about just the insanity of ranchers in the Point Reyes Light putting out that propaganda piece, pretending to be concerned about the velvet grass not being grazed down in time. And like, how do we get to be so selective to decide that you're concerned about that plant? It's only there because it's a commodity plant for your industry, but just gonna ignore everything that's been done with the silage field plants all these years.
So something going on with your microphone, Skyler. It's a little wafting in and out. I don't know whether it's the mic or just the transmission. Try again. At least I missed that last sentence.
1, 2, 3.
Very good. That's good. Maybe it's just distance from the mic. Not sure. Go ahead.
So those of you who aren't, I saw some non-native plants flowering, and it made me think about the silage fields and how tourists go out there and like take pictures of the radish and the mustard as if it's like some wonderful Point Reyes occurrence. Well, no, it's a ranching occurrence. Those are commodity crops. They're spreading all over the place, spreading into the elk reserve, spreading across the rest of the seashore. They're all over California. I find them everywhere. I even find them here. So I thought it was interesting how they were talking about in that article about a single plant produces thousands of seeds. And so I went and I was like, how about these commodity plants that you intentionally plant and allow to grow all the way through seeding? Well, mustard seeds and radish seeds, the wild varieties that they use there, also produce thousands of seeds each. So it's this selective concern.
Yeah.
And an audience that is just sitting there waiting to be baited. Like, oh, God, yeah, that's true. We got to have those cows out there for that velvet grass. The velvet grass wouldn't be there if it wasn't because of the cows. Neither would the radish. Neither would the mustard. Neither would the poison hemlock and the milk thistle.
Yeah, exactly. It's like our current ongoing. I mean, we'll be doing this for the next year, probably more, and just alerting people to the fact that the Nature Conservancy, an ironic name right there, the Nature Conservancy, conserving nature, is bringing in cows to eat down the grass, which is considered both an invasive problem and simultaneously a fire danger. But all of that fire danger and invasive grass exists because cows were there in the first place, fixing the problem with more of the problem. And that mimics, by the way, this is for me always the word I use for this is Point Reyes is a microcosm for the problem of cattle ranching in America, let alone in Switzerland where Stephen is. I don't know enough about politics there and the environment, but here it's really a massive devastation of earth, wind, and fire, of land, water, and atmosphere by cows, which is kind of hard to believe if you weren't raised to think that, which none of us were. Like, cows are good, nice animals, happy on the land. Let's have milk and meat. And the cows are a major problem that's completely unnecessary. Don't need.
It looks like that opening scene from the Lee Greenwood video.
You know, I bring people out to Point Reyes sometimes to, give the tour of what's going on out there. And it really is fascinating. I go to, this place, Abbott's Lagoon parking lot.
Yeah.
And you stand in the parking lot, on the gravel in the parking lot, and you look down the trail that it's 1 mile out to the ocean, to the lagoon and the ocean. And on the left side, there's grazing land, eaten down, grass, a nice green pasture, people think. And on the right, hard to tell from a distance, but there's the vegetation that's been there for 1,000 years, coyote brush and lupin. And it's hard to tell, but the coyote brush and lupin is probably 5, 6, 8 feet deep. There can be deer standing in there and they'd be hidden unless you look at them with binoculars. And you point to that with a clear dividing line. The path divides those two landscapes. And you say, what's on the left, the cattle pasture, hides no animals. Look at it. There's nothing there. It's, to use your term, monoculture golf course, in effect. And on the right is what was here. Do you see that the cows destroy the land and create that. And you're looking at it with people. I brought a reporter from Sierra Magazine out there, a freelancer who wrote an article about the Point Reyes issue a couple of years ago. And they see it and they still can't quite digest that information. It's too radical a shift. And it just amazes me. I think I froze because you froze.
I'm not frozen. I'm just having a camera issue.
Okay. Anyway, it's just how once someone's belief is set, and that goes for me and for every human, it's really hard to challenge a belief because it's been reinforced by years of the same repeated thought, which is why we do what we do. Try to break down the conditioning and have people look at cows for what they are and what they do to the land.
All right. Moving along so we can get to the meat of the show. Jack's been chomping at the bit to share this, and I know some of you will enjoy it.
Good one. I got you in the butt. Gertie. I'm going to get you. Here it comes.
Uh-oh, there's the ball. She's like, nah.
Get it.
Thank you. 17 seconds of Gertie, Gertie, Gertie the cow, and I'm in love. She is a sweet girl, younger than I usually fall for, way younger. I mean, younger than Epstein's girls. She's 5 months old. I'm going to see her again this Saturday, teaching a iPhone photography class, and Gertie will be one of the animals at Jolene's retreat in Sonoma County, a wonderful retreat where that cow has been rescued from the dairy industry. She's a Holstein. 5 months old. She already weighs 400 pounds. I weigh about 160, 165. So she doesn't have anybody else at the moment, another cow to play with. So she's very eager to play. Once she, sniffs you out and checks you out, you're cool. She does have 2 little horns. She's a female cow. And it reminds me that, oh yeah, female cows have horns too. And they are burned off.
Right.
So she's got her horns, and I don't know how big they're going to get, whether it's 6 inches or a foot. I don't know, but she loves to headbutt like a goat does. That's her plaything. She would do with other cows. And the first time I visited her, she caught me in the shin and I had a welt. I was there this past weekend again, just because I wanted to visit her with, Corinne, who's on here, was there as well. And I got caught in my rib. I still feel it here. And I was wearing padded clothing. She's a powerful, feisty girl. And I just love her. She's awesome.
I realized I actually put this up on YouTube a while back and forgot. And I compared my experience with a rescued calf to the experience of the calves that I saw out in Point Reyes National Seashore.
Oh, wow.
Mine is landscape, so I'll make it bigger here.
Yep. Wow, she's even younger. It looks like, I don't even know.
17 days.
Wow.
This is at the Pretty Ring Sanctuary in Dixon. Now, this is back in Point Reyes.
Back in her calf hutch where she will go into the...
Look at it, licking where it's hoping that there's milk.
Because
this is back at the sanctuary, back in Point Reyes.
Because she's taken from her mother.
Calf coming over to me. Hey, I'm trying to communicate with you. I have needs. I'm hungry. I want my mom. I want a nipple. There's the 17-year-old on the left with human companionship, and here are the prisoners on the right. There's the 17-day-old on the left exploring, walking, taking a nap in the sun.
And getting some affection from a fellow mammal versus isolation in a wire cage. Wow.
Next to a dog.
I mean, folks, if you're an animal lover, I'm sure a lot of people in this broadcast have been around cows, but if some haven't, they really are gentle, sweet animals. They've been, they're domesticated thousands of years.
Look at that, Jack.
Wow. Running happy. What that animal, what the one you documented in the cage cannot do. And for anyone else who's watching this, it might be critical and say, yeah, but you
got to eat, got to have calcium.
Well, or also, where are you going to put them all? It's called stop breeding them in the first place for human consumption.
Yeah.
That's the big ones. We don't need to be doing any of this. It's an old tradition. It's an old way of eating, a brutal one. We don't need to be doing. It's completely unnecessary. People who are stuck in it now are just doing it for palate pleasure, and we know good older environmentalists who just don't understand that. So we keep going on about it to save these poor sweet animals from the torture they endure for nothing, for no reason, no good reason. Wow, nicely done, Skyler. Which ranch is that at Point Reyes that you were showing? Is that A ranch?
That was Mendoza, B.
B ranch. Okay. That's the road out to the
What a tragedy that misery is getting moved out.
I think you're being sarcastic. Am I right? Gosh. And, of course, for those cows, they're just going to be sold and go somewhere else. It's not like the industry ends. It just moves out of a national park where it had no business being in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a topic for another show, but it haunts me that while it's a nice thing to rescue animals, if we don't stop the source of all these animals that need to be rescued, then the planet is going to consist of sanctuaries and the place producing the animals that need to be rescued from sanctuaries, because it's land and it becomes degraded land. You just can't have livestock in a sanctuary without it. You saw the ground that your cow was on. It has to come to an end. Otherwise, there will be no wildlife left. It's going to be sanctuaries and ranches.
Yeah, and I got to say, when I went vegan in 2014, I went to a sanctuary up in Grass Valley, a famous one known in the Bay Area called Animal Place, and I didn't understand the purpose. I thought it's futile. So you saved a few chickens or a few pigs or a cow. Like, it doesn't matter. There's tens of thousands, millions, and I didn't realize that the power of sanctuaries is that people get to meet them and interact with them and understand that a cow is just like their golden retriever. It's an ambassador, becomes an ambassador animal that gets people to understand, oh my God, how can we lock these guys up? And then at least they'll say, okay, you convinced me, it's a sweet animal. At least we treat them humanely. And then we get to go at debunking that myth that they're ever treated humanely in an industry that exploits them and kills them when they're just children.
They're ambassador animals, but also if you've witnessed or allowed yourself to truly imagine the hell that they're in, you simultaneously have a hard time saying not to rescue them. You're like, no, you have to help them. Yeah. You can't just let animals keep living the hell that ranchers put them through.
Yeah, and for me, the overview I keep stating is all we do as activists is just try to tell and show people the truth. Show and tell people the truth. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, another little announcement. I guess I should broadcast this more. I have not done so. I've been a busy boy. So this Saturday, I have my iPhone workshop for anyone who'd like to participate in that at that Jolene's retreat in Sonoma County with Gertie the cow I was playing with there. That's this coming Saturday. The following Saturday, which is the 31st, I'm participating in a 6 activist panel talk sponsored by the San Francisco Vegan Society, and that's just a Zoom. So that's just tuning in at 9 o'clock in the morning. For some people, too early, but at least we'll be done at 10:30, and then you go off and have your day. But 6 different activists from 6 different directions, as it were, including someone who runs a animal sanctuary in Petaluma, which is Animal Place of Petaluma, and me and Leah and Mike Rupenna of Anonymous for the Voiceless, a woman Amber I have not met from PETA, and someone who's doing a legislative effort in Oregon, IP28, David Michelson. So those 6 people will all be participating in the panel talk in 2 Saturdays. I will tell more about it, I guess, next week, perhaps. And that I need to get that on my event page on my website. A lot of things are on my event page. So thanks for letting me speak about all that.
Okay, let's have you walk us through today's main topic.
Yes. So this is, we're always going on about Point Reyes, how they're whining about what a bum deal they're being pushed out, not revealing the truth, which is they are millionaire landowners who were paid millions twice and then they do to the land. So this is not in Point Reyes' photograph, but it's emblematic of dry land, desiccated, covered with cow pies and, cow bodies, which in this case were left on the land, but destruction of the land, hence slumdog, millionaire, ranchers. And the problem is way bigger than at Point Reyes. Point Reyes is a tiny little 71,000 acre park with 18,000 acres given over to the so-called pastoral zone, which is the advertising word for ranching destroys the land. And this article you're putting up now, this is by ProPublica, scrolling to the top, headline, "The Biggest Takeaways from Our Investigation into Grazing on Public Lands." So this is the U.S., so this is cattle, not sheep. Livestock grazing is allowed across 240 million acres of federal land. Our investigation reveals the subsidies prop up ranching, its impact on the environment, and of course, as we know well from Point Reyes, the politics underpinning the system. So that's the reporter. He's in northeastern Nevada, but this article, I do overviews, and then there's always digging into the science, and which is a lot longer dive. But I just want to go into some. Actually, let me do it this way. This is okay for you, Skyler. Let me know if this works for the audience. I'm just going to read the call outs, that just an overview of the topics in here, and we can dive into them or not. So
sure. Before you dive in, let me just greet Phoenix and Susan Stern, Conforti. Welcome.
Oh, cool, Susan. Hey, thanks so much, Susan. Good to see you here again. Thank you for that. So,
is this big enough? Yeah, I guess this is as big as I can get it.
It's full screen. Yeah, that works.
Cool.
And I just highlighted the first one there. So the system, which is the cattle system that is in America, has evolved into a subsidy program for ranchers. So we can, you tell me, should I do overview or jump into each one of these? Because this is basically the bulk of the show here if we want to get into it.
I don't know. We could argue either way. I'm asking. I could interrupt you already. Do people remember a couple of weeks ago where we pointed out that that the 70% of dairy producers' profits are from subsidies? Like the product itself isn't even creating a profit margin unless your taxes are creating that profit margin.
Right. The taxes create the profit and then some. And actually, we're paying the ranchers. So the poor public is paying the wealthy ranchers. Think about that, folks. And this is
then you have these people come on. Like I saw somebody spamming my channel saying, "Oh, eating meat is efficient." And I'm like, no, in no way, shape, or form is it efficient.
As I quote you a lot, a couple ways, Skyler, you've had influence on me, but it's the most inefficient, as you say, way to produce food for human consumption. And then also they go around in Marin here specifically, we get to see it firsthand. Albert Strauss, Kevin Lunny, Bill Nyman. Nyman is a little quieter. He's not the PR guy. The other two are that I just mentioned. But they all go around saying this is the backbone of the Marin County economy. Strauss especially, if you close down any dairies, God forbid, it's going to kill the economy. Total lie.
Been saying it since the 50s.
Right. Saying it since the 50s. And this goes into the politics we'll get into as well here too. But even just, so this is the public, I'm reading the first sentence here. The public lands grazing system was modernized in the 1930s. Get this. In response to the rampant use of natural resources, wait for it, that led to the Dust Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So we put subsidies in place to help an industry that destroyed the Southwest and created our Dust Bowl and a depression. The massive dust storms triggered by poor agricultural practices, including overgrazing. Today, the system focuses on subsidizing the continued grazing of these lands. And then I add, which created the Dust Bowl in the first place. Did you see the movie? Please, go.
Here in California, one of my courses focused mostly on California, and down in the Central Valley, generations ago, they emptied the aquifers within years using flood farming. They just fucking dump more than they could possibly need, and eventually it'll get to your crops. And they showed the water line. They had all this wonderful water that nature had stored up for future use, despite the millions of animals that lived in California. And then ranching and agriculture came along, and all the animals disappeared, and the water disappeared. If anything, you would think you'd have more water because there's no wildlife there to consume it. No, because they brought in the least efficient form of animal possible, the least efficient form of agriculture possible, and bye water. And then you got the ranchers sitting there saying, "Woe is us! Somebody help us because of what we did."
Yeah, it takes, I guess it's some degree of self-delusion and a bigger dose of corruption to actually convince themselves that they're not evil, horrible people the way, Trump's a sociopath and a pathological liar. So he can say the thing out front that no one else would be able to say and pull it off because you'd feel they're lying. He's the front man, and he, of course, is going to expand cattle grazing and reduce any regulation. Don't let me get me started. So the Bureau of Land Management and the Forest Service, the two largest federal land management agencies, oversee most of the system. Combined, they charge ranchers $21 million total in grazing fees for all of 2024. That's a 93% discount on average compared with the market rate for forage on private land.
My God.
93% discount, as in Point Reyes, where they're paying, $3,500 for something that is for land.
You know what?
What?
I'm going to have you repeat that number.
Sure.
How much was brought in for grazing fees? Over how many acres?
The Bureau of Land Management and Forest Service, the two large federal land management agencies, charge ranchers a total of $21 million in grazing fees the entire year of 2024. And that their analysis, and there's a link to a bigger document about this, found to be about a 93% discount on average compared with the market rate for forage on private lands.
But the article opened up with about 240 million acres. You're making nothing. Like if, Trump talks about the economy and tariffs and all this and that, and they're spending billions on ICE to target false threats. It's like, get rid of ranchers and use that land for something profitable. 24 million for the entire year for 240 million acres of land?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. 240. Yeah, very good. Yeah. And that's a, not a 5-finger discount. It's a 9.5-finger discount. Yeah. And then, of course, who's this money going to?
Is that it's killing the planet. So, there's that.
We haven't even gotten there yet. And then the other thing is like, well, it's going to lots of hardworking, small family farms, which is the myth of the few remaining small family farmers.
They're bad people. Sorry, they're bad people. These people that are portrayed as good Americans, they're actually bad people doing bad things for a living.
Abusing animals, raping animals, literally.
The planet, killing your future, basically killing your children.
Polluting the land.
These people are killing your children.
This is tag team besmirching we're doing here. And then the next headline, the next call out, ranching is consolidated, of course, so the small farmer will complain, we can't survive. There's a consolidation in the industry. Well, that's true. So one thing they might say that is true, but the ranching is consolidated in the hands of some of the already wealthiest Americans. So once again, welfare for the rich on the backs of the working stiff in this country. A small number of wealthy individuals and corporations manage most livestock on private lands. Roughly 2/3 of the grazing on Bureau of Land Management acreage is controlled by just 10% of ranchers, the analysis found.
Wow.
And on Forest Service land, the top 10% of permittees control more than half of the grazing.
Wow.
Among the large, and I don't know these names, do you? Oh, excuse me, one of them I know. Among the largest ranchers are billionaires like Stan Kroenke, Kroenke, and surprise, Australian Rupert Murdoch, as well as
mining controls the media, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, Rupert Murdoch, as I understand, the corporation still owns Fox News, so they're a big propaganda outlet. I've heard some good left-wing pundits argue that he, an Australian, probably has done more to damage the American economy and the American people than anyone, even Elon Muskmelon, who's doing his own job from South Africa. The financial benefits of holding permits to graze herds on public lands extend beyond cattle sales, even hobby ranches. And that would be like the Ted Turner kind of stuff. Even hobby ranches can qualify for property tax breaks in many areas. Ranching business expenses can be deducted from federal taxes. And private property associated with grazing permits is a stable long-term investment. And of course, they didn't get comments from either. I'm not sure if it's Kroenke, Kroenke, did not respond for comment. Neither did Murdoch, of course.
I was just thinking, as long as the government is going to subsidize your cattle grazing on that land, and that's a way of keeping that land, at the end of the day, you're going to have a lot of land. And the government's helping you hold on to that land rather than it be expensive for you to have it. So, I mean, they're not losing because having land is going to be, well, it already is. Like, you can't even measure the wealth that represents. And this whole thing with Trump doubling down on the subsidies and expanding the grazing.
Yeah.
The Wildlife News, George Werthner, months ago, wrote about this, and it came right after he pissed off ranchers with his wanting to use Argentine beef, wanting to bring in Argentine beef, and then American ranchers got pissed off about it, and so he just, it wasn't America first, obviously, so it was Argentina first, and then he tried to make up for it by granting even more destructive permissions for ranchers. And of course, that was enough to shut them up. They're like, okay, as long as you keep giving us, it's not really about America first. It's about as long as we get ours. So you're killing America from inside while still not being America first.
The only thing good in all the monstrous going on right now is that it's getting so bad for so many people. There's even defections from the Trump folks who identify with Trump because they bought the propaganda, because they're pushing all the wealth up to the top. And eventually there's enough poor people down below that even the poor right-winger and the poor left-winger understand they're brothers in this fight. It's a class war against billionaires as opposed to dividing us with politics or by skin color or by where we're from.
Well, you may think that, but you're forgetting the massive, just astonishingly stupid population that when things are so bad that it's turned to violence in the streets, which we're already heading toward, when the guy who controls the media goes on camera and says, I'm going to solve this problem for you, they're going to reach for anyone who's offering a solution, even if that person created the problem. Yeah. Hitler, anyone?
Well, exactly. And to your point, I mean, if you control the media, I keep repeating this, and I recommend people reread Orwell's 1984, because it shows where this is headed clearly. I mean, with control of the people's information supply. And I get people are, well, I don't know, in my circles, people are wising up and know to really be careful with their sources, but AI is going to make that hard to do because it's going to be a flood of, in fact, what's his name? John Oliver did a great piece on he called it, have you heard the term AI slop?
No. AI
slop. So that's when you get the AI, bots, the programs to just generate, crappy videos about whatever, but it's automated and there's just a dumping of it. You just churn it out. I mean, already if you go scroll through YouTube, it's
I'm seeing them and they're pretty easy to identify.
But they're going to get more sophisticated and they'll be harder to identify. And especially if you're not educated about it, if you're not know to be on guard, the way our older parents, 70s and 80s, whatever, can be fooled by come on saying you've just won the Nigerian lottery, send us your $200 processing fee and we'll send you $18,000, whatever.
And you also have your beer, barbecue, and freedom T-shirt wearing people that want to be lied to. They're just waiting. I mean, they don't care if it's inaccurate. Please feed me some more lies, even if it's AI generated.
As with eating beef and dairy, that's the vegan argument. It's like I'm comfortable. This was in the. I'm a pop culture guy, obviously. It was in the Matrix. The guy sitting at the table, like, look, just give me my fantasy. Give me a nice restaurant with candlelight, a nice fat juicy steak, the sensation of that taste, and I don't care. I'll rat anybody out. I'll sell out the system. I'll sell out my country, my life, my wife, my life. Just give me the steak and the illusion, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'll submit.
Yeah.
If people remember that wonderful scene in The Matrix, really profound.
Oh, yeah. I've referenced it many times. It's magnificent.
Oh, you know it? Okay, great. I want to know that actor's name. He's really good at it. Anyway, so the headline here, or the call out, is the Trump administration is supercharging the system, including by further increasing subsidies and, of course, loosening already lax oversight. That's such a compact, perfect sentence. This administration is loosening already lax oversight. It's already been a joke, as you of all people, Skyler, know more emotionally and profoundly than I do of what a joke it was for oversight at Point Reyes Seashore. You can pollute away and they don't care. They won't monitor. They won't report it if they do monitor. And if they do catch it, they won't penalize for it. And if they did penalize it for it, they won't bother and collect.
Not only do they not care, they'll create waivers.
Right. What does that even tell me, my friend? What is a waiver exactly? That you can't pollute, but I'll give you a waiver. What does that mean?
Dairy operators have water waivers, which mean they don't get checked for water pollution, which would only come into existence because it's obvious that they would never meet the clean water regulations that were put in place. So, here's a waiver. Just sign this. You just need you to sign this. It doesn't matter what.
But I don't understand. How can that? You're saying they just go around regulation by saying, "Here's a waiver"? How can that be?
That's what the National Park Service does.
I don't understand that. Isn't there a law or a rule or regulation about water pollution or whatever? I don't. You're confusing me.
That's what the point of a waiver is. It's a legal way of being illegal.
We have a law. Oh, wait, here. I have
Here,
I have a sticky note here. Here you go. Now you can pollute because I give you this.
here's something we created that means that the law doesn't apply in this case.
God. And this is why, it's funny. I'm so aware as a communications person.
And who's getting this waiver to be terrible? Stewards.
The stewards of the land.
I mean, the fact that they get to be called stewards of the land while they receive waivers that let them off the hook for being polluters of the land.
Major polluters, the biggest polluters of the land. Not even just they're contributing. They are the major polluters, certainly around here where we see it in Northern California.
Viewers, are you with us? Somebody say something. Are you not as mad as we are? Are you not as mind blown? Or are you all just sitting there with your mouths open, wondering how soon the end is?
The end is near, right?
Not the end of the show, the end of the world.
Yeah. I get that. So the system allows widespread environmental harm in the West. So the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, oversees 155 million acres of public lands that are open for grazing, and assessments it conducts on the health and environment found that grazing had degraded at least 38 million of those acres, an area about half the size of New Mexico. The agency.
Jack, that can't be true. How many articles have we read recently about how grazing increases biodiversity? Like, just
I was simultaneously going to pull up. I don't need to jump around too much, but the Nature Conservancy, that increasingly Orwellian named organization that is now going to run Point Reyes Seashore, God help us, has a white paper called Sustainable Grazing. It's clean coal. The grazing, okay, well, let's just say it's sustainable. And now we have something called sustainable. Look, folks, look what we're doing to Skyler. The poor guy is here for your service, trying to help you. Look at the pain he's willing to endure to educate you to help this planet. Yeah, Susan Conforti, we're furious too. Thanks, Susan. It's good not to be alone in this stuff because it's painful, but we got to speak up and call it out. I mean, I don't know what else to do, but the Edward Abbey quote drives me all the time. I say it often. Passion without action is the ruination of the soul. It hurts more to do nothing. It hurts more to say and do nothing.
a feral Italian sounds dangerous.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see. To your point. But ranchers contend that public lands grazing has ecological benefits, such as preventing nearby private lands from being sold off and paved over, which I would argue is probably a better use of the land. Bill Fales, I don't know who that is, and his family, for example, run cattle in western Colorado, done so for more than a century. And he says, and I quote, "The wildlife here is dependent upon these ranches staying open as open ranch land. While the development..."
Jack, these are the exact same excuses that we hear in Point Reyes, except it's even more insane with Point Reyes to pretend that it's going to get paved over if the ranches aren't there. It's a fucking national park.
Right.
And even if it wasn't a national park, dear Homo sapiens, you understand that you have choices, you have options. You can actually stretch your brain and think about something else to do with land other than graze it or pave it. Do you understand that there are other options out there?
No, because my kid's school is defunded and we're all watching, Netflix TV and YouTube videos posted by Donald Trump Jr.
And Murdoch.
Yeah. So, okay. So Laura's asking for people to sign the plant-based treaty, your city government, which of course is the way that each of us as individuals, by just simply choosing to eat a different milk product in the supermarket and eat a plant-based meat, we can not contribute to this system. So thanks for that, Laura. And then of course, we get down to the brass, painful tacks here. Regulators say it's difficult to significantly change the system because of the industry's political influence. We interviewed 10 current BLM employees from upper management to rank and file rangeland managers, and they all spoke of political pressure to go easy on ranchers, Quote, if we do anything anti-grazing, there is at least a decent chance of politicians being involved, one employee told us. We want to avoid that, so we don't do anything that would bring that about. And furthermore, quote, any policy decisions are made in accordance with federal law and are designed to, get this, balance economic opportunity with conservation responsibilities across the nation's public lands. So it's not we need to protect the land. It's like, well, we need to balance that with making money. And if we need to make money, well, then to hell with the conservation, obviously.
All right, I have several points before I forget.
Please.
I'll work backwards. Okay, so even if you do want to prioritize economics, again, this is not very economical. It's only helping certain people, that 10% that you just talked about. It's not really helping in general in the economy. But furthermore, the political pressure, that was one of the first things George Werthner told me. He was just like, no, the most important part of this is their political power. These people are wealthy, and these ranchers have political power. Like they're actively in Washington, or local governments. But furthermore, do you guys remember the quote from Melanie Gunn that I shared with you from my interview in 2021? I said, if things are so bad out there, why don't you guys ever crack down on the ranchers? And she said, and this is a national park, mind you, not BLM, not the Bureau of Public Land Management. This is a national park. And politicians are still stepping in to make sure that damage to the land continues. She said, we've tried, and when we try, the politicians come down on us.
Yeah.
Which in that case, she would have been talking about Feinstein and Huffman.
Wow. And that was off the record, or at least not on camera, that statement from a representative, the press person for the Park Service, Melanie.
It's on record.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's an emotional and filmic documentation of what we just read, the proof of it. The industry has friends in high places. The Trump administration appointed to a high-level post at the U.S. Department of Interior a lawyer who has represented ranchers in cases against the government, and he owns a stake in a Wyoming cattle operation. Jesus. Was it foxes and chicken coops? Is that the line? The administration also named a tech entrepreneur who owns a ranch in Idaho to a post overseeing the Forest Service. So that's someone who is the regulated, also being appointed to being a regulator.
Who was that superintendent that stayed in Point Reyes for like nearly 20 years against the rules? And he himself was a cattleman. And the head of the Department of Interior at the time was also a rancher.
I don't know. I should know, and I don't.
I should too. I just
yeah. I mean, that's why we were successful, I think, in my opinion, to some extent at Point Reyes, because it was the national park. As soon as you say private land, then hey, anything goes hands off. Private land. Doesn't matter if you kill people on your private land. It's private land. My private land. But in a national park, it's like the average person can be on board with us and say, yeah, we understand what national parks are, which is also, by the way, why Trump administration right now is going to do their best to dismantle national parks, open them up for development. We really got to get the guy out. I really, as I like to say every night before I go to bed, I'm not a religious person. I wasn't raised that way, but I go to my bed, kneel down, look up to the sky, down to my navel, wherever, and I say, with love in my heart, because I'm a peaceful guy, clots and prayers. Clots and prayers.
if he hasn't, with what he's done, if we haven't gotten him out now, I mean, we've hit the low of the low 30 times. Why would I think anything else is going to change anything?
There is no bottom, as they say. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We will see. It's impossible to know. It could get a hell of a lot worse, or it might the dam might burst if it just because they're doubling down, troubling down now. It's getting so bad. Steve, you and I should talk at some point. I don't know, just because he's a guy from Brooklyn, a buddy of mine from years ago who's living in Switzerland now. A view from afar, watching what goes on, a European perspective. Now, I have another friend that moved to the south of France. He actually got out of New York and semi-retired, calling in some telecommuting, as they call it on the computer, from the south of France just to get out of this country. Couldn't handle it. And yes, Susan, it's infuriating.
I've had some people in other countries email me saying we're very concerned about what we're seeing and we're pretty sure things are only going to get worse. I don't know what to do with that information.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an optimistic person, and I'm challenged to stay that way these days. It's pretty freaking dark.
Well, you have to end at 10. Do you want to keep reading this article, or do you?
Sure. Yeah, we'll finish. Yeah, I think actually that's the end of it. It's short. I mean, there are links that go into much more. Oh, folks, this is ProPublica. If you do want to see this article, it would be just if you.
I have the link. I have it up in my web browser. I'll put in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's just an overview. It's a nice compact article with links elsewhere, a summary, which I find very useful, and then you can share it with people and spread the word that the biggest takeaways from our investigation into grazing on public lands, just the overview, which is again a macrocosm of what we're fighting here locally at Point Reyes Seashore. Land degradation subsidized by you, the taxpayer, to the wealthy cattle rancher. And, as always, the thing we give kind of the least attention to, at least on most of our shows, is, we touched on it, but the suffering of the animals, too. Just the monstrous cruelty of it, which has to be hidden from public view, or people would be outraged and consider having to actually stop participating in a system that's so cruel to fellow sentient beings. So if anybody wants to learn more about my iPhone photography workshop, I will be teaching hands-on with just a small group of folks this coming Saturday, January 24th in Sonoma County. For those in the Bay Area who can get there, I have one woman coming up from the South Bay, Los Gatos, bless her. Actually, she's going to stay over at Jolene's, which you can do, but contact me. So just simplest way is to email me at jack@treespiritproject.com. On my website is also my phone number. So and it's on the event itself is on my events page, so you can see more about it. It's a full day learning how to take better pictures with an iPhone. Camera most people have.
I added the link to that article to the description as well as in the chat, but it's also now in the description. I also have links to some of my dairy calf videos that are already on YouTube, so I was able to just link them quickly. If people want to go and look at those, it's pretty moving. I'll circle back to that beer, barbecue, and freedom guy. Out of the three of those, obviously freedom is the most important one. And in a country that screams about freedom, you sure are comfortable with taking freedom away from others. The lives of those babies is just horrifying.
Which is why.
And videos like yours and things that you experience at those sanctuaries remind you that these are individuals. They want to interact. They want to play. They want love. They want to experience things. They want to run. They want to sniff. They want to headbutt you. They want to kick a ball around. They're alive, people. They're breathing. And you just think that they're another commodity that comes out of a womb to be abused as the mothers are abused. I mean, even if we did need their milk, as the superior species, you should be looking for a way to survive without doing that shit to them. But we don't need it.
And we don't need it. Yeah, thank you.
And you still want to do it. And it's killing the planet. And it's hurting the economy. So, how shitty do you want to be? If you're a dairy rancher supporter, that's the measurement of being a shitty human being.
And my positive take on
in my unbiased opinion.
Well, it's a bias based on truth and caring for animals, Skyler. It's obvious to see. And for me, the positive take I have on what you just said is the only reason this is perpetuated is because there's a cloak, a fabric, a blanket, a thick blanket of lies covering it. We just lift up the blanket and say, look what's really going on, folks. And then the average person will respond. I mean, this is going to be part of the discussion in 2 weeks for this Saturday panel discussion with 6 activists talking about, it's called The Power of Truth in Advocacy. Just speaking the truth, which is upsetting to a lot of people because they don't know the truth. And when they hear it, it's upsetting because it's
it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Cognitive dissonance is the fancy phrase for it, but it's uncomfortable to hear something that contradicts your beliefs.
And if it makes anyone feel better, I'm guilty of when the blanket started coming up the first time, pulling it back down. No. There's way too much information. Nope.
I was that. I knew but didn't know. Called myself an animal lover all my life, would never harm an animal by my hand. And I was, going to the delicatessen and buying all the delicatessen meats.
So Corinne says,
yeah, I'll read it for you.
I wish I was older, Corinne. I do. It's not going to be good times in the near future. Plus, you grew up in a better era of music.
So Corinne says, yeah, thank you, Skyler, as I thank you for what you just said. And sometimes I'm glad I'm really old. Me too, says Phoenix. And Chris Cedar, good morning, Chris, said, yes, Skyler, this needs to be repeated until everyone gets it. So, we're certainly, I think Ray Cooper pointed out, you guys, repeat the same thing, but come at it from different angles. Like, perfect. It's exactly what we should be doing. Repeating from different angles, vary it, but it's all the same story. Like saying that, our current president is a psychopath and he's going to destroy us. And he's actively doing it. Needs to be said again and again.
I'm glad we have viewers that don't mind how blunt I am. It's anger. And there's some shame in there for what I participated in for a long time while calling myself superior, a predator, a carnivore, most intelligent. Absolutely none of it was accurate.
Show topics for the future, for future consideration. 2 people sent me, did you see it was a cow on an Austrian farm that was using a broomstick with its mouth and scratching its own back, tool use. And the article was in The Guardian saying, this is scientists. I was writing a blog on this because it just made me laugh and cringe. Scientists, ran there to document this incredible bovine. It proves that they're more intelligent than we thought because, they're idiots.
All you have to do with any living creature is watch them for a little while and you'll realize you're not giving any of them enough credit.
So would you want to do a show on that? And does the audience want to do a show just on the supposed intelligence of humans versus animals?
Yes. And speaking of future shows, if you're in the comments today, please remind me. I think it was an honest doubter, but I'm not sure about dogs and humans owning dogs and the problems that come along with it. And I wanted to put that into the category of dog agriculture. But I'll explain it. I'll flesh it out. But who was it? I want to make sure that you're present on the day that we air that show. So let me know who you are and give Jack your email address because he'll send out a newsletter.
Right.
And also, and there's a great book we could reference for your idea called "Are We Smart Enough to Know How Intelligent Animals Are?"
Wow. Wonderful title. How old is that? Who's that? Do you know? I've never heard of that one.
It's pretty old. It's been on my shelf for at least a decade.
Wow. I can answer the question, though, of the title, which is, rhetorical. The answer is no. Next book. Thank you.
Maybe the better answer is, are you interested in being intelligent enough, or does it make you comfortable to believe that they aren't smart? And maybe that's the real core.
Are you willing to act on your supposed intelligence? So was that a super chat from Corinne for $2? Is that what that is coming in?
Thank you, Corinne.
Thank you. So yeah, folks, please share the link to this show and comment briefly, and I will get in there tomorrow. I'm running out today to Point Reyes actually now, but comment on this show to try to get the algorithm to get more comments and likes. It really helps as all the as all us podcasters say these days. Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Skyler.